Oh, the joys of adulting and managing money, right? It can be hard to know how to plan for big purchases. There's so many things you can read online, so many things you can do, and everybody's money situation is different. But today I'm going to talk about how we budget for big purchases. Hey guys, Sarah here from Work Life Glue, where we glue work and life together one piece at a time, and one piece of everybody's life is finances, as much as they can be awesome and exciting or a downer and something you kind of just hate keeping track of. It's part of our lives, whether we like it or not. So today I'm going to be talking about how my husband and I budget for big purchases. Now this is something we haven't really heard a lot about, how we specifically plan for big purchases. Maybe this is how you do it, but I'm going to talk about two different ways you can do that. We do follow Dave Ramsey, but this is something I haven't really heard him talk a whole lot about when it comes to one of the ways we do this, so I thought it would be worth a video in case it might help you guys out. So there are two main ways, I guess you could say, to plan for big purchases. One way is obviously to save for it, and the other way is to not save for it and just buy it. One good way to save is to use sinking funds. Now this is something we do for some things. Right now we are using a sinking fund to save up for car seats for our baby when she turns one, when she will be switching to a convertible car seat, because we like to buy higher quality ones. So that's like $200 to $300 per car seat for two cars. We're looking at $400 to $600. I would consider that like an overall bigger purchase. But then there's things like vacations, and you know, if your kid needs braces, if you're gonna have some kind of procedure done, if you're going to buy a new car, or a down payment on a house. All those things are really big purchases. So those are things you probably will be saving for over time using a sinking fund, which is where you just put money aside every month, and over so many months until you reach that money goal, till you have enough to buy it, and then you buy it. It's pretty simple. We've also used this for things like website renewals when they come up, Amazon Prime when that comes up every year, which isn't a very big purchase, but it's just nice to save for that year round. My daycare curriculum is a pretty big expense, so we use the sinking fund for that. We use sinking fund for Christmas expenses, birthdays, vacations, all those kind of things we use sinking funds for, as well as like car repairs and saving up for our daughter's big girl bed when she is gonna switch out of her toddler bed. That's like a bigger expense that we don't want to just buy straight out, so we save for it. And then of course, like any house repairs, renovations, big landscaping projects, or if there's just like a really big, like a new kitchen, or a buffet, or a big furniture piece, or a new couch set, or something like that, or a computer, all those kind of things that you could save for over time that you can plan for in advance. Now what I really want to talk about in this video, since sinking funds are a pretty well-known thing, especially if you follow Dave Ramsey, or just knowing to save over time for things is pretty well known. But what we do for some of our big purchases is we utilize extra paycheck months. So what do I mean by that? Well, I as a daycare provider get paid weekly. On Fridays is my payday, and my husband as a sous chef gets paid bi-weekly, so he gets paid every other week. And so there are a few months where we each receive an extra paycheck, so we're getting more money that month than we normally do the other months of the year. So for example, if you look at the calendar for 2018 when this video is filmed, you count how many Fridays are in each month, you will see that some months have 5 Fridays and most months just have 4. In fact, there are 4 months of the year that have 5 Fridays. So that would mean, you know, extra paychecks. For me, that would mean 4 months where I am getting 5 paychecks instead of 4. And for my husband, if we go through and see, you know, how many paydays he has, there are 2 months in a year where he gets 3 paychecks instead of 2. So it is really easy once you go through and discover what those months are. I will just tell you for 2018, March, June, August, and November all have 5 Fridays if you are a Friday payday. But if you're like a Wednesday payday or a Sunday or whatever, it depends ends up being. Just go through and see which months have 5 of those. I'm guessing it probably ends up being 4 for most days of the week. I don't know for sure, but chances are pretty good that it'll be 3 to 4 months where you're gonna get an extra paycheck, or 2 months if you are getting paid every other week. If you're paid monthly, I don't know how that would work, but for most of us, I would assume we're getting paid either every week or every other week, so you can follow this system. So what we do is we try to budget like well in advance for things. So we have our budget set up where every month there's a budget. So I have it budgeted out. I just copy and paste the same monthly template that I use for the rest of the year. And so then I go through and I calculate what our income will be for each month, and then I'll go through and figure out what our income would be for those extra paycheck months. And for those months, it's a couple extra $1,000s, depending on how much you make. But for us, I'd say we probably make about what a lot of middle income families make. And it's, you know, it's significant, especially in the months where Stan's getting paid 3 times and I'm getting paid 5 times. His 3 paycheck months are awesome because he is getting paid bi-weekly, so that's an extra 2 weeks of pay twice in a year, which is awesome. And then I get 1 extra weeks of pay, but I get it 4 times a year. So we go through and figure out what that would be, and then we plan a lot of our extra bigger purchases in those months. So we also plan our vacations in those months. So for example, March, at the filming of this video, haven't gone on it yet, but we're doing just a little mini vacation in the Twin Cities, and we budget for that in this extra paycheck month. It works out great. We also are going to be putting in a shed. That is not a cheap thing to buy, and we could save for it over time, but instead we just decided to put that in an extra paycheck month in June, so that we have a lot of extra money in those months. So that's where we put that expense. We know we're going to be paid more that month, so we just put that expense in that month, and we know it's going to be covered, and it's really easy, and we don't feel like we're sacrificing any of the money we have because we're not used to having that extra money. So it's really easy to just put those like more essential things that you need, because we really are running out of space in our garage with all the daycare stuff we have and house maintenance stuff, that a shed is like pretty essential at this point. So it's easy to do that because it doesn't feel like it's money that we would be using otherwise. It's just extra, which is awesome. We also have our state fair that we love to go to. That is in the end of August, early September, and since August is one of our extra paycheck months, we can budget for the extra money for going to the state fair in that month, as well as like family pictures, which we try to do once a year. We don't have to save up for that because we can just use an extra paycheck month. I absolutely love extra paycheck months. They're like my favorite ever, and we just love to utilize them for some fun things. We pay off extra debt in those months as well. But we also try to budget for those essential bigger things or fun things in those months, because it is a lot of extra money that we don't normally have in our month. So it's nice to just set aside those things that we need or we've been really wanting to do when we have the extra money. I would love to know if this is something you guys already do, and if not, what are some things that you can do with that money once you discover like, wow, we actually do get paid more some months. If you're new to budgeting, obviously you need to sit down and like start doing that before this will really work for you. But there are all kinds of resources online of how to do that. But yeah, I definitely recommend you go look at Dave Ramsey's stuff if you're not familiar. He's really helped us. And if you guys like this kind of like budgeting, financial related video, let me know. I can definitely put more out of them. We are no experts, but we like to share what we do along the way. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.